John and Ali, you've both been working on the Afghan Refugees Resettlement Project, and you spent a full day helping out. And John, you've been a long-standing volunteer with us. You worked on a variety of projects for us and with us. And Ali, you're actually a member of the staff who decided to donate your whole day to help out on this project. So do you want to tell us a bit what it was like for you? What did you witness on the day? How did the day go? What did you have to do?
Sure. I'm John Walker. I'm a volunteer driver. I have been for the last 18 years since I moved back to retire in London from Singapore, and mainly do long distance driving for people who need to be taken wherever they want to go to. I heard about the requirement for volunteers for the Afghan project for the refugees who've been taken out of, which we all know about, taken out tragically from the situation in Kabul on the RAF planes. And there was going to be a massive day of volunteering at St. Luke's Church, and they needed people to do absolutely everything. One of the requirements was for drivers ideally who had vehicles, to move massive amounts of clothes and toys and games and toiletries that people had donated. And so I was free, and luckily Westway Community Transport, as always, was superb and said, sure, of course you can have the truck, no need to pay for it, put in a gallon of diesel, that's fine. And so I was driving our goods van, a good size truck, and just moving truckloads of clothes that had been donated to and fro St. Luke's Church to be sorted and arranged so that when the refugees were brought to the St. Luke's Church, there were hundreds of refugees to help them find the right sort of clothes, the right sort of things they needed. Very satisfying day, but to be honest, the real hero of the day was Ali, who was driving. He was driving on his day off completely, untold to, wanted to volunteer to do it.
Very short notice as well.
At a very short notice. We were all on that very short notice, understandably, because suddenly 900 Afghans plonked into Kensington, Chelsea, into hotels. They've got to be sorted out and looked after. They've got to be given clothes. They came standing up in what they'd been wearing for some of them 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, and that's all they had. They got to the hotel and there was nothing.
Yeah, because prior to the hotel, they were in the quarantine hotels for 2 weeks.
That's right.
So, yeah.
And then they were moved. They still, though, had nothing. Some of them were still wearing the same clothes that they left Kabul in 3 weeks earlier. But then Ali came along with one of our minibuses, 17-seater minibus.
Yes.
And spent the whole day ferrying these poor people, particularly a great number of young children. And all you had to do was look into their eyes, and you could see they're hugely traumatized. They didn't really know whether they were coming or going. They didn't know what was going on. And sadly, I believe that quite a lot of them actually didn't have any relatives with them at all. They were just, they're orphans on their own. But Ali moved them backwards and forwards. And Ali, you were incredibly busy.
Yes, well, as John just mentioned, my name is Ali, and I work for Westway Community Transport. And as John mentioned before, obviously I end up putting myself as a volunteer, which I really wanted to do for a long time. Something that I can give back.
On your birthday?
Well, yes, it was on my birthday, but that's not the point. The point is that trying to give back to people, and these poor people really needed help. And I was transporting the Afghan refugees from hotel to a church that that's supposed to be like collecting clothes and all necessary things for the kids, for themselves. And I was just doing this back and forth from the hotel to the church, and obviously I really loved it. I need to say this, I loved every minute of it, and I will not miss another opportunity to do it again. I would love to do it again, and doesn't matter if it's Afghan Refugees or any other charities. I wish that I had done it before. This is something I miss in my life, and hopefully it won't happen again. And as John mentioned, there were a lot of vulnerable people from Afghanistan, and you could see from in their eyes that I don't think they are comfortable to be here. Obviously, they left the country, and who is actually comfortable to leave their own family, even some that probably they left their kids and they don't know what happened to them, and their own country to come to a foreign country. They don't speak their language, and it's a new environment. Everything practically is brand new for them, and but one thing that I know for sure that it will happen, that the kids, they will have a bright future, that's for sure, and they will have a better life, and hopefully one day they will go back to their country.
I think I just add, I think it's great the way that Westway Community Transport yet again stood up straight away. I heard about this. I quite late at night actually sent a text to Kathleen, the director of Westway, saying what's going on, and saying, Kathleen, can I borrow a van? Instantly I got a reply, John, of course you can. Fix it up, no problem, I authorise it to get on with. And that's where I think Westway really come onto their own. They're fantastic at moving schools around, moving community groups around, but when there's a real crunch, they're there. They're standing by. Grenville, the refugees coming in across the channel, they're always ready to help. And I think it's a tremendous feather in the cap.
Yeah, I think it was a multi-agency approach, and it's been great to see. I was involved in some of the moving of the goods, and it was incredible to see how much the community put together to donate.
Yeah.
Again, as you keep on saying, at very short notice.
Yeah.
So that's and also it's as a transport organization, I think it's key to see how the provision of one little element, which is transport, facilitates and enables the success of the whole day. Because it's not just about donating goods, but it's also about if you are not able to get the goods from A to B,
absolutely,
then nobody can pick them up. If you're not able to take people from A to B, then goods are left.
I mean, no minibus, no truck, nothing happens.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
That's correct.